Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Halo 5 Legendary Lone Wolf walkthrough. This is the second part of Mission 14, the Breaking, the Ivan Drago wheelhouse. And we're pushing forward in this shooting gallery of just fight. It really is the final barrier between the final mission. And the final mission is a little bit more diversified than this. There's some vehicle stuff on it, but it's still not the greatest of missions. I wish it was a little different, personally. But a lot of fighting happening here, guys. And I've mentioned in a previous video that somebody told me, or taught me, is probably a better way of saying it, that you can order your team to pick up weapons. And I really recommend that you do that on this section, guys. Give them a power weapon. Give them the strongest thing you can give them. Hopefully an incineration cannon, something like that, or a railgun. Give them just the biggest thing they can hold. To which you say, that's my pointus. Or, that's what she said. No, that's not what she said because, you know, small penis joke, insert here. But just give them the big guns. You need it. You really do, and it's going to make the fight coming up so much better. I don't wish suffering on anybody on that final fight because it's going to come anyway. But let's talk about it, shall we? Because it's going to be quite quick when it happens. And the good news is, it doesn't take long to kill him if you're focusing fire on him and you're getting lucky and not instantly being murdered. So it's only like a minute section, but that minute can take hours to come. It's pretty ridiculous. It's so rough. And the thing you need to bear in mind is you can focus on the turrets, but they take a lot of beatings to be killed, and while you're doing it, the boss can kill you, so it can be a waste of time. I feel like it's better to focus on the boss, but then it puts you in a situation that's trickier then, because you have to contend with the boss and the turrets. But the theory is simple. You need to get the ammo to kill him, and you need to hit him with the incineration cannon a whole bunch of times, and not get murdered by the turrets. And the best way I've found to do this is to get up on one of those platforms and strafe around the platform. Always keeping him closer to you than the turrets, and always trying to be in between either side when whichever weapon is attacking you. So when the turrets are going, you want to be close to the warden. When the warden's going, you want to be close to the turrets. And if you can get it synced up so that you can do that like a perfect dance, you're gonna win. But there'll be so many opportunities where you try and get away from a warden and a turret kills you, and vice versa. And it's very tricky. There are a whole bunch of extra things that make it tricky. If he fires the gold laser too close and you try and dodge it, the timing is so strict, it's like a fucking one-frame Link without plinks. It's really strict. You have to be super spot on, but you can do it because I've done it. Additionally, if he starts doing the ground pound when you're up on that platform, you have to get as far away from it as you can, and if the lasers are ready to fire or they're firing, you're dead. Like, there are so many things that if it lines up in a certain way, there's not a lot that you can do, except for die and hopefully do better next time. But you're going to play amazing, you're going to get perfect luck, and you're going to do it first time. And that is what I fervently wish, because if you don't, you could be there a long time. But here's an assassination on a soldier. Stab him in the roof of his head, and then we can progress onwards and shoot people. And this sequence is going to go a little quicker because there's a lot of good guns here. There's still bags of shit everywhere, but for the most, we're hopefully going to have the light rifle for a lot. And this is a pretty big gauntlet too, because once we push up, we're going to get a checkpoint, and then there's not a checkpoint until the one before the boss. And the issue is, there is a bunch of turret guys, a bunch of knights, and a bunch of binary rifle, sniper rifle people. Pretty tricky, but if you're patient and if you're accurate, you can do it quite comfortably. Oh, and the music on this sequence is really good too, so it makes you feel like you're doing something important. And it can literally be that makes it feel less like a slog, because the music's good. So I'm really happy that it was. And I think the music of the whole is okay. I don't think it shines like, say, Halo 3's did. Because I think the menu theme for Halo 3 is one of the most beautiful pieces of game soundtrack I've ever heard. It made me play the game, and I had no interest in playing it. Then I heard that wonderful song, and I was like, my god, this makes me want to do bold and ambitious things. I want to save something. Give me that green armor, let's do this shit. But keep your cover, play patient, stock up on your grenades. I recommend saving 2 grenades for the final phase of the boss, but there are grenades in the room, so you don't need to. And in all honesty, I never really got the grenades to do much, but it's just quick damage that might be the difference between losing and winning. And if that's what it is, you're going to thank them. But I'm not going to lie, guys, what is coming is the hardest thing. It truly is. It's the most tricky moment of the game. Which is why every member of your team needs a beast gun, you need beast guns, and you need a little bit of luck. If you get that, you'll be fine. If you don't, you'll probably have what happens in this video, which is one lucky run after 2 hours of trying. And my goodness, it sucks, because the first phase is all 3 wardens at the same time. They spread out in a triangle formation, and it's tricky because you're going to get hit from a direction you're not looking at. If you can navigate that and kill one, you'll get a checkpoint. When there's 2 wardens left, it's the easiest phase of the fight, and what you want to try and do is damage both of them equally. I think that is a legit strat, but I just couldn't apparently do it all that well. So I damage both wardens and I kill one. And then the final checkpoint triggers, the turrets come in, and it's the final boss. However, he takes so much damage. I shoot 2 full incineration cannons at him. Is it 2? It might just be 1, actually. I think it's one fully charged 4-shot incineration cannons, 4 binary rifle shots to his face, and that's what finally kills him, I think. So it's literally everything, kitchen sink as well. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But as I've said, the successful run of the final checkpoint is give or take about 40 to 50 seconds. So it's less than a minute, guys. That's all you need. 1 minute of luck. And if you get it, you've won. And then everything after that is way easier. Like, you're going to really think that the game gets much easier because you don't have to worry about being murdered by laser turrets when you come out of cover, and you don't have a boss that one-shots you that's chasing you out of cover. You know, you're not in that horrible situation anymore, and it makes a big difference. That being said, there is a pretty big fight at the end of Mission 15, and I have a wonderful safe spot, so if you're having any issue with that section, I have a great place to go and hide for a little bit and rekindle your thoughts and, you know, re-up and get back in the fight. Not that you'll need it, because it's not that bad of an encounter, but I found it and I wanted to use it because I'm a guide maker and that's what I do. If I find something that I think is potentially easy and it could make something much easier, I want to try and validate it and, you know, craft it so that it does exactly that, and that's what I did. And I wish I could have found something for this, but I just didn't. So I'm hoping giving your team incineration cannons is going to make a big difference, because mine don't have them, and they don't do anything, and I don't even command them to attack him. They just kind of run around and die. You know, they distract him a little bit. There's 1 or 2 moments where they really pull through for me, and it's one of the reasons why I succeed. But you can't really control that even when you're commanding them, because they do what they want for the most. So it's one of those things. And if you're wondering why I'm not using the full charge on this, it's because at this moment in time I wasn't entirely sure if it was the better way to use the weapon. So I just wanted to put as many shots down range as I could in hopes of taking their armor and then finishing them off with headshots. And I still couldn't tell you if it's the better strategy because I don't know. As I mentioned, there doesn't seem to be any real statistics for the weapons or any kind of in-depth information. Saki mentioned that he would like frame data-esque information that fighting games get in shooters, and I'm with him with that. You know, the more information the better. And I think a lot of people get put off by, you know, too many statistics and, you know, crazy acronyms, but after a while it becomes really easy to read once you know how. And there will be a lot of videos of people teaching you how to read it, because the first thing that I did when I was trying to learn all the frame data for Street Fighter 4 was look at some of those charts and kind of go, I don't know what any of these things mean, and then immediately there was an explanation and I read through it, and now I can pretty much pick up on it easy. And it's one of those cool things, you know, you're learning. Who said you had to stop learning when you left school? That is a really, really ignorant mindset, and a lot of people have it though. Hopefully you're not one of them, and if you are, hopefully we can break that. This is The Breaking, IvanDrago.com. But this is real tense because the checkpoint is before we killed the turrets. So there's a lot of enemies here that can all do big damage. You don't have the best tools to deal with it. And you're also going to be conscious that you're going to carry whatever you have left into arguably the hardest section of the game. So you'll notice I keep backing up because all I want is a light rifle. I want to find a sneaky rifle that's been dropped, like that one, and I want to bring it back and do some work. If you could have a battle rifle or a light rifle, any of the good guns for the full duration of this campaign, this would be such a more fun game. Hands down, 100%, that is the first thing I would patch. Like, why don't they give you a good gun when you die? Like, you know, if you die, why don't you spawn in with the guns that you spawned in at the beginning? A fully loaded Magnum and a fully loaded battle rifle. That would be beautiful. Because then, you could death exploit, you could use checkpoints to re-equip yourself, and you would never be put in a situation where you've got a fucking bag of dick gun. Like, which is literally Halo at its hardest. If you want to make an even harder version of this game, every time you get shot, restart checkpoint, then you'll be here forever. But jokes aside, just play it without using any of the good guns. They'll literally make this miserable. And that's one of those things where I love putting modifiers on games to make them harder, but they have to intrigue me and they have to be fun. If I think whatever it is not going to be fun and I would rather, you know, pierce my ballsack, I'm not going to want to do it. You know, I don't choose to do things like no damaging the Souls games because I find it miserable. If I did, I wouldn't do it. Whereas there are other games like Big Benedict just put up a community challenge to no damage the first fight on Ninja Gaiden 2 on Master Ninja. I know I could do that, but I wouldn't enjoy doing it. And it's just one of those things where as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this. And the thing is, I've done it before. I've no damaged a lot of parts of those games because when I originally played it, I didn't use items. So I beat that entire game on Master Ninja without using potions. And it's one of those things where everybody heals on that game. It's just a foundation of how it's played. But I was a Devil May Cry player, so I didn't use the items. I just gritted my teeth and died a million times. So I know I've got the ability to do it, but I don't have the want to do it, so I'm not going to. And it's just one of them things. I love a challenge, but if it's something that I don't think is going to be fun, I'm not bothered at all. And it's a shame, because I wish challenges were more fun. You know, I wish there was more of an incentive to do them, but there just really isn't. And it's similar with No Damage. There's a YouTuber by the name of The Godfather Dictator, who I talk about quite a lot. I advertised his channel a while back, and he does No Damage stuff. That's kind of his moniker. It's what he's known for. And God bless him, because some of the stuff he does, I just don't know how he finds it fun, but that's his thing. And there are certain stuff that no damaging is incredibly fun. As I mentioned, I really liked no damaging The Last of Us, even though on the last mission I got shot at the door at the final level. But every other video in that series, I took no damage, and I really enjoyed doing that. Dark Souls, I was so in love with that game, I really enjoyed doing that, so that's what I did. You know, the Onimusha Day of Dreams, Dawn of Dreams, I forget the name, that was a really fun game to no damage as well. Because I was playing it on PC, so wherever the checkpoints were, I could save state. So instead of, you know, loading game and waiting, I could just go boom, and I was done, and I was back in the game, there was no waiting, so it was really, really fun. Any of the games on my channel, Resident Evil 4, it's a game that has a system that can be used, and skill overrides everything else. So all the times you get hit on that game are your fault generally, because you didn't control something correctly and you didn't use the tools that the game gives you, and it made it a really fun project. But there are certain games that I can't imagine doing that to, and I can't imagine it being even remotely fun. Just none at all, like literally no fun. And fun comes first for me, and it can be things that people might think are the equivalent of torture, but I enjoy it. You know, it's just one of those things. I enjoy weird stuff. I just do. I think everybody's like that in some way. You've got something that's peculiar to yourself. Like, I was watching somebody play Street Fighter the other day, and they said they've been playing for a few years, and they've played against Mark, Teddy, and a few other, you know, high-end players. They go to Wednesday night fights, and they're comfortable with 4 characters. One of them was Seth. So I asked the person to play Seth, you know, expecting to see some interesting tech, and it was one of the worst Seths I've ever seen. Doing the wrong moves to do hit confirms, doing tandem into SPD instead of getting actual damage because they were just neutral jumping it or backdashing it, and like, it was just really poor play. And it was just that moment where I realised, like, that I don't know if this is a good representation of this person, but this person's not very good at playing the game at all. Like, it's almost like they've never been in training mode and learnt to land the links, because they didn't even hit basic bread and butters. And I know it's online and it's trickier, But this is somebody who plays online, who's played online a lot. I think they were like rank B. So it's like, dude, what the fuck? And when I'm in your stream and I feel like I could land things better than you, you know there's something wrong. But that's because I love training mode. I went in training mode when I first started picking up Street Fighter I was in it like 7 hours a day. And I wasn't bored whatsoever, because I was wanting to learn. And even now, I go in to try and refresh on things and try and learn the timings on stuff, and I've literally just picked up 2 or 3 other pieces of tech by watching videos, and I've gone in and tried to learn to do them. And it only took me an hour to get it down comfortably, but every time I'll put that game on, I'll practice it again, and I'll practice it again, and it's got to the point where the max damage combo by Seth on any punish, if the enemy's close enough or he's been punished by tandem, is a 1-frame link that I can hit every single time, almost guaranteed. And I went from not being able to hit it to it's a move that I am confident in landing now. So much so that I've even added doing a Shoryuken instead of legs at the end, which is the thing that I'm not as comfortable with because I'm not very good at doing dragon punches when I want to sometimes. But I just find it bizarre, you know, to see somebody who said they've played the game a long time, who's playing online, who's saying that they're comfortable with this and comfortable with this and they can play this well, and then me sitting and watching and thinking, wow, this guy's garbage. And I don't mean to be offensive at all, not at all, but I know my ability in that game. I'm not very good at fighting humans, but I can land my fucking links. And it's that weird disconnect, and it must be that person who doesn't like training, I guess, who doesn't like putting in the work, who just wants to get in there and play. And it's just that weird difference, I guess. But thank you very much for watching. The next video is going to be tricky. Grit your teeth and take it like a man.